How was your day? I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to see you. It's a joy to meet here for once. I think pretty much any day can be a better day. Just add water. I mean, look at it. The waves and whirlpools. Listen to it. Water comes with so much joy. I wouldn't say I could do this forever exactly. I'm not smitten by the water, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. Oh, yeah, I think you're thinking about Narcissus. He was smitten by his own reflection. I honestly don't think that's a big risk for you and me. We're not the type to fall in love with our own mirror. Oh, don't get me wrong. I like how I look. But I don't have a crush on me. I don't give me butterflies. I mean, a reflection in the water is recognizable enough that you might care for it, but it's dynamic and moving enough for it to be captivating somehow. I think if I'm going to get lost in a reflection, don't use a mirror, don't use water. Try a screen, or better yet, try a fictional character. I mean, aren't they? I remember a scene from a movie. We were getting introduced to the main character, who was a capital N nerd, and we could tell from all of the books that he loved reading very much. And he was slightly younger than me, still living with his mom, who was worried about him. It's not very original, but she she confronted him about not seeing enough people and having enough friends and enough company. And he replied passionately but surprisingly short something about having the company of Socrates and the great thinkers of history. And also, I think there was something about fictional characters in there. At least in my memory, there was something like that. Because books, as you can tell, this is not a perfect quote of how it went, but his mom replied something about, if Socrates jumped off a cliff, would you do that? Don't listen to your friends if they try to tell you to do bad things. I don't want them to be a bad influence on you. Well, the rest of the movie was an alright movie, but that scene just stayed with me because the point lingers for me. At least the way I understood it. The point seemed to be something about fictional characters or characters from history or books in general can only reflect back to you who you are. They can never annoy you or disturb you in the way that a flesh and blood human can. They can never knock at an inopportune time. Literally, you only give them time when you choose to. And they cannot bring you out of your comfort zone to learn new things, because ultimately these characters become a reflection of you and nothing else. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm saying that's what I perceived from the character in the scene. That is actually a counter argument in a way. But on one hand, I don't think the idea that characters who are not physically present with us only reflect back our own selves or the things we are ready to acknowledge. I don't think it's that easy. I don't think that is how we function. But I still can't deny that there is something to it. Yeah, in a sense, reading or engaging with stories is a exercise that is very internal. It is about you, and while you interact with other people, some alive, some elsewhere, some fictional, the interaction is less dynamic in some sense. Because you cannot ask a book a question, and a book cannot tell if you're losing interest, for instance. No, I don't think so. The point is that you can read a book, but a book can never read you, you know? Yeah, that's true. And if to some extent a book or a fictional experience can only tell you what you're ready to hear, well, then I think that actually applies to people as well. Yeah, humans are deeply complex. And another thing that rubs me the wrong way about the mom's standpoint in that scene is that it is somewhat anti intellectualism. Like the idea that books essentially cannot teach you things or bring you outside your comfort zone or give you new ideas. Yeah. And of course, as a supposed parent child conversation, when the child in question has an absurd amount of PhDs and is stuck in their room forever and ever only reading books, maybe just a tad of anti intellectualism can be warranted in that moment. It wasn't meant to be, gospel for how we are handling our lives. It's just meant to prod him in that start of the movie situation. so that he would go out of his room and make the movie happen. Yeah, basically. I guess I've never told you to go out of your room and make the movie happen. But it feels like dangerous but entertaining advice. Let's call it that. Either way, I don't really think you're capable of getting stuck in navel gazing mode or in a reflection of yourself like Narcissus did. Because fundamentally, you care too much about other people to do that. I mean, I love fictional characters and I love myths. You know this. But Narcissus, he was an amazing character and a great myth, very thought provoking. But he's not a good person. Ultimately, he was so tied up in how gorgeous he was on the outside. He failed completely to see anything worthwhile in anyone else. And you're just too good of a person to be ensnared by that fate. Well, if you don't know, I do. At least you must know that Narcissus would never say that. You see, you do because you are a good person. I know that because I have seen your story and I've been allowed to read your book. And I am so incredibly proud of you. Proud enough to tear my eyes from the water. Let's say that. Well, I got that from you, kiddo. I'm just happy to return it. I am so, so proud